Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and today we're going to go over the Lit vs. Grit 6 bosses that came out. I'm also going to give a true review of all 6 of these cards, which ones I think are the best, and of course with the Chewy reviews, you're going to get a Chewy rating. I know that the Chewy ratings are kind of new to NHL 21. I've been doing them on MLB The Show 20. Essentially how it works is I'm going to rate the card 1 through 5 Chewies, and it can have half increments, so you can get like a 3.5 out of 5 Chewies. And that's just what my personal take is on the card, as well as I'll go a little bit in depth about why I think the card is good or not so good for the point of the game we're in. Some of the criteria for that are definitely going to be the attributes on the card, as well as the position they play. Other factors when it comes to NHL is definitely their height, their weight, kind of how they skate, what their shot's like. Obviously, as you guys know, a player like Ovechkin or Crosby, they seem to both have like wicked wristers that I think is just naturally better than a lot of other guys. So there's stuff like that that makes the card a little bit glitchier whenever you're playing with them to do a little bit more, maybe play a little bit above their attributes. Before we get into going over these 6 Lit or Grit cards, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, comment down below what you guys think about these 6 cards, which ones you like the best, which ones you like the least, as well as hit that notification bell so you know when I'm uploading more videos, and share this video with any of your friends that play NHL 21 so we can continue to grow this channel. I appreciate all the support. Let's get into it. Artemi Panarin. This 89 overall, Artemi Panarin's a left winger for the New York Rangers. He's a player build of sniper. He's right-handed shooting. And looking at his attributes, one of the things about Panarin is he's an absolute speedster in real life, and this card translates to that. He has 90 acceleration, 92 agility, 82 balance, 89 endurance, 90 speed. So he's going to be one of the faster players in the game right now. If you got a guy that's 90 plus speed right now, he's going to be an absolute speed demon and really hard to deal with. His shooting and his hands are what really bring this card out. As you can look at his shooting attributes, he has 93 slap shot accuracy, 88 slap shot power, 95 wrist shot accuracy. That is probably one of the best wrist shot accuracies in the game right now with 91 wrist shot power. He's going to have a ridiculous wrist shot, great snapshot. The slapper is not going to be that great, but that's really not that big of a deal. You're not going to use Panarin to come down the wing and just blast slap shots. With the combination of his great wrist shot and snapshot and the hands that we're about to go over right here with the 96 deking, 95 offensive awareness, 94 hand-eye, 94 passing, and 95 puck control. His ridiculous ability to control the puck as well as his good snapshot's going to make him hard to deal with in the offensive zone. Also, he's a 5'11", 168 pounds, so he's going to be very slippery. He's going to be a guy that's quick in and out of essentially breaks and cuts within the offensive zone. When he has the puck, he's going to be hard to deal with. When he's off puck, he's going to be hard for the computer to cover. He's going to get into open spots with that good offensive awareness at 95. Some of the other things to know for this card is he has 93 stick checking and 89 defensive awareness, which are both really good stats for a left winger. I'm not sure why his defense is so high, but that is something to think about with this card. Looking at his synergies, he has Spark. For Spark, it's going to give you +4 acceleration, so he'll have 94 acceleration. This is a team synergy, so it's not an individual synergy. Gives him body checking, strength, and discipline. Those aren't really great attributes to add to this Panarin card. The acceleration's good, but as for a team synergy, Spark's about middle tier, so it's not the best team synergy. Then for passing playmaker, this is where it really elevates the card. Is he gets 98 passing, 97 slap shot accuracy, and then he has 97 stick checking. So it helps with his passing, which makes him even a better type of playmaker, even though he's a sniper-built card. I really like this Panarin. I do think he's probably one of the best cards in the game at this point. And because of that, I'm going to give this Artemi Panarin 4.5 Chewies. The reason I'm not giving him 5 Chewies here is essentially he's just really small at 5'11", and he doesn't have the best synergies. Like, he doesn't have the top team synergies that you want. So we're going to give him 4.5 Chewies. If he had a slightly better synergies, he'd probably get 5 Chewies. As well as he's just not going to be very physical defensively on the puck, especially at the wing. But it looks like he can play pretty good defense with the 93 stick checking, and I'm kind of excited about that. I think this might be the best out of the 6 cards. We're about to go over the other 5 that are in this promotion, Lit vs. Grit, and we'll give a review of those. But I think this Panarin might actually be the keeper out of the 6 of them. William Nylander. The next card is the Toronto Maple Leafs right winger. He's a playmaker build, right-handed shooting, 89 overall, William Nylander. He's 6 foot tall, 191 pounds, so he's also a little bit of a smaller body like Panarin, but he weighs a little bit more. He's a really fast skater, and because of his build, he's solid at 191 at 6 foot, so he's going to be a little bit harder to knock off the puck than Panarin is when you get to him, even though he has less balance than what the Panarin did. Once again, a guy that has good skating, 89 acceleration, 95 agility, 89 speed, only 86 balance. Like I said, hopefully his build makes up for that lack of balance at 86. Amazing shot on this card. 91 accuracy for slap shot and wrist shot, 90 power for slap shot and wrist shot. So he definitely has a very, very good shot, 90 plus. Really what you like to see for a guy that could definitely light the lamp for you. Once again, another card, just like the Panarin, that has great hands. I wonder if that kind of has to do with the lit versus grit type of cards. Is the lit guys are flashy, fancy type of players, so they're going to have the good hands. 94 deking, 94 offensive awareness, 92 hand-eye, 94 passing, 94 puck control. So like I said, he might be a little bit easier to knock off the puck with the balance and knock down, but he has 94 puck control. So he's definitely going to be a guy that's hard to get the puck off of. Defensively, he's not as good as Panarin was. He only has 88 defensive awareness and 88 stick checking. Another guy that's not really going to throw the body around with only 78 body checking. So it's not too bad. 86 strength, though, goes back to, like, I think with his build and his frame, in these mid-80s and then the 94 puck control, he's going to be hard to get off the puck. And that's really nice when you have a smaller player, and I like that for Nylander. As for his synergies, he has Swarm, which is a team synergy. It's going to give him agility, defensive awareness, stick checking, and hand-eye. So it's actually one of the top-tier team synergies. So I really like that for Nylander. And then it's Magician, which is the individual synergy. Once again, agility, puts it on deking and puck control, so it'll make it a little bit harder to get him off the puck. The only thing about this, if you have Swarm Magician, as you can see, the +4, you can still only get 99 overall for his agility. So you're actually throwing away agility if you have both of his synergies activated. Not that he can't be plugged in for those, so that I think that hurts him a little bit, to be honest. Because of that, I'm going to give this Nylander 4 Chewies. He has amazing attributes. He does have a top-tier team synergy, which is really what we're looking for. He has that great build at 6 foot, 191, nice and solid. But the fact that his synergies overlap each other, I think, hurts him a little bit. As well as he's a little bit worse than the Panarin. He's not as fast of a skater, even though he still has wheels at 89 speed. And he's not as good defensively as that Panarin. Like I said, that Panarin's kind of like a two-way forward with that stick checking, even though he's a smaller guy. We're going to go with 4 Chewies for this William Nylander. Miro Heiskanen. 89 overall, Miro Heiskanen, the left-handed defenseman for the Dallas Stars. He's labeled as a left defenseman, but I personally like to play my left-handed defenseman at right defense. I like to play my right-handed defenseman at left defense. Typically, left-handed defensemen are going to be left defensemen, but either way, he's a two-way defenseman. He's going to shoot left-handed, as I've already mentioned. He's 6 foot, 170 pounds, so he's not as solid as I would like at 6 foot tall. Nylander's actually technically like a bigger body than this Heiskanen is. But the Heiskanen plays kind of taller. He has a pretty long stick in this game, or at least he did last year. I haven't played with Heiskanen yet this year. I'm going to make an assumption that he has a longer stick like he did last year, where he's very good with the poke check, very active. I like his animations for the poke check, and those are slightly different for every player based on their build. I like the way his poke check was working last year. I'm assuming it's about the same this year. As for his skating, he has 86 acceleration, 91 agility, 86 speed. He has 87 balance, and a big thing for defensemen is he has 96 endurance. That is huge because defensemen are on the ice a lot longer. They can get more fatigued. It's harder for them to line change. So you really want to look at the endurance stat whenever you're looking at defensemen, and he has a lot of it at 96. For his shooting, great shot. Most defensemen are going to shoot a lot of slap shots, so we're going to look at the slap shot power at 90, slap shot accuracy 88. He does have an 89 wrist shot power, 88 wrist shot accuracy. So not too bad overall for the shot there. Actually, it's really good. As for his hands, he has good passing at 91. Offensive awareness means he'll kind of be in good spots. Maybe he'll cheat up depending on how your settings are set up for your strategies. The deking and stuff is kind of just like added bonus for a defenseman. You're really looking for passing and puck control on defensemen when it comes to this hands category. And he has both of those good at 91 overall. As for defense, he's not the biggest man body on body at 85 body checking, but he has 87 strength. The fighting, aggression, durability, like that stuff really doesn't matter that much. Aggression can matter a little bit. If it's really, really high, he could be like too aggressive depending on what your settings are and get him out of position. But body checking is really what you're looking for in that defensive stat. And it's 85. I'm not sure why it's on the defensive stat rather than at the checking stat. I feel like body checking and defensive awareness were supposed to be switched on these two categories, but they're not. Either way, in the checking category here, you're going to have defensive awareness at 92, 87 shot blocking, 92 stick checking. Those are all great statistics for a defenseman. I really like the way this Miro Heiskanen's looking. On top of, he has the two best synergies in the game. He has the best team synergy and the best individual synergy. Now, I don't think Speedster's the best individual synergy for a defenseman. I think there's actually a better one. But he essentially has two top-tier synergies. He's one of the best defensemen in the game right now. His biggest downside that's letting him down is his speed's only 86, so like long term, he's going to have to be replaced. Even though with Speedster, you do get +4 speed, which puts him at 90, and then you have Distributor, you can get up to 93 speed. So he could be held on long term if you need him to, but you're going to have to get those synergies matched up. Now, Speedster's not too hard of one to get. There's a lot of cards right now that are even just regular basic gold cards that have Speedster. So we could actually have 90 speed, which makes him probably even a little bit better. I'm going to give this Heiskanen 4.5 Chewies. He's, I think, equivalent to Panarin when it comes to these cards because of his synergies. If you're just looking at attributes, Panarin is a better card attribute-wise, but you throw in Heiskanen's synergies with his attributes, he's going to get that bump to be tied with Panarin at 4.5 Chewies. Patrice Bergeron. So we've finished the lit side of this lit vs. grit themed cards. Now we're on to the grit side, and to start it off, we have the 89 overall Boston Bruin Patrice Bergeron. He is a center, two-way forward, right-handed shooting, 6'1", 195 pounds. He's a Canadian. As you guys know, he's won a few medals with Team Canada throughout his career. And looking at his skating, and this is, I think, going to be the biggest difference between the lit versus the grit cards, is the lit cards are speedy guys with good shooting, good hands, a little bit flashier. The grit guys are more of those like two-way forwards, power forwards, guys that like to bang the body a little bit. Looking at his skating, is 85 acceleration, 85 speed, 87 agilities. Does have good balance at 87. His shooting is I wish it'd be a little bit higher, but Patrice Bergeron's more of a setup man than a goal scorer. So he has 86 slap shot accuracy, 87 slap shot power, 86 wrist shot accuracy, 87 wrist shot power. For his hands, he has 89 deking, 92 offensive awareness, 89 hand-eye, 91 passing, 91 puck control. So very good hands, great puck control. He's going to be hard on the puck. That's really what you want for a center, especially a guy that's going to be more of a setup man than a goal scorer. As for his defense, he doesn't have any great body checking, but he does have 87 strength. 83 body checking is actually not bad for like a two-way center, but he's still not going to really throw the lumber down on anybody. As for checking, this is where this card shines. 94 defensive awareness, 90 shot blocking, 95 stick checking, 93 faceoffs. He probably has the highest faceoffs in the game right now. I would have to check on that, but 93 faceoffs is very big. Like, that means you're going to win a lot of faceoffs. Patrice Bergeron's known for being one of the best faceoff men in the NHL, so it makes sense that he has 93 faceoffs for it in his attributes. The 95 stick checking, even if you got late in the game here and you had four other centers with good faceoffs, man, how I would like to take it back to the days of NHL 2018 and before when you could put forwards at defense. Could you imagine Patrice Bergeron as your left defenseman with 94 defensive awareness, 90 shot blocking, and 95 stick checking? At 6'1", he would be shut down, especially with his passing and puck control. Like, this would be like the go-to defensive defenseman, would be in a top pairing or in your second pairing towards the end of the game still. Amazing attributes defensively. Patrice Bergeron has good synergies as well with Howitzer and Heart and Soul. For Howitzer, it is your slap shot power, wrist shot power, speed, and agility. So you get 6 guys with Howitzer. It is a great individual synergy. It really helps us Patrice Bergeron. And then Heart and Soul is 91 balance, 91 endurance. It gives him even more faceoffs. This is a team synergy, obviously, and more shot blocking. So you get Heart and Soul. This Bergeron turns into an absolute monster in the faceoff dot. I think at this point in the game, with there not being too many centers that have like super high faceoffs, I think this Bergeron's even more valuable. I think if this same type of card, maybe with a little bit higher attributes, came out, let's say a month or 2 months from now, when there's a few other guys that have 90 plus faceoffs, this Bergeron's probably not as valuable. For right now in the game, because of his faceoffs and how important it is that puck control and team puck control off of faceoffs, and his great defensive stats, the fact that he can literally be a good penalty killer, power play, like he can play on all special teams, and is probably your number one center right now, if not your number two at the very least. That's if you have like Lemieux or Gretzky already, or one of the other legends that are in the game that we'll do some videos for, that I have prepared to do them, to go over these legend cards. But this Bergeron, just one of the best two-way guys. I'm going to give him 4.5 chewies for this point in the game. I think for what he brings to the table, it's something that you need this early in the game. So I'm going to give Bergeron 4.5 chewies. Great faceoffs, great defensively. He's exactly what you would expect of Patrice Bergeron, a guy that's won the Selke a couple times, to be if you're looking for a Hut hockey card. Blake Wheeler. For this card, I'm going to try to be as unbiased as I can. I'm not a Winnipeg Jets fan by any means, but Blake Wheeler is one of my favorite players in this video game almost every year, as well as he's just fun to watch in real life. He's like a big old power forward that bullies guys. He skates hard. He's not necessarily the most athletic player, but he's just one of those guys that you just like to watch play hockey in real life, and it translates into the video game, and he always has really, really good shot release, has a good wrist shot, good slap shot. He's always in the right spot in these video games for whatever reason. And at 6'5", 225 pounds, he's just pretty good moving for his size. Like, he doesn't feel blocky like some of the guys like Bufflin does from time to time, or like even Eric Lindros, it was last game or the game before, just felt kind of clunky. Blake Wheeler never has that clunkiness to him. This card is an 89 overall. Right wing, obviously, that's what Blake Wheeler plays. He's right-handed shooting, and he's a power forward. For his skating, he has 85 acceleration, 86 agility, 90 balance, 85 speed. So he's definitely not going to be a speed demon. There's some cards that he comes out with from time to time that's like 90-plus speed, and you're like, well, he's 6'5" with 90-plus speed. Sign him up. Put him on the bench, coach. Put him in the starting lineup. This card isn't quite that yet. 85 speed, still very fast for the game at this point in time. But long-term, 85 speed is going to get burnt. Doesn't mean that Blake Wheeler couldn't be a guy that you have on your team the entire game and he ends up just being a fourth liner later on down the road. I do think he has some value. As for shooting, he has 89 slap shot accuracy, 92 slap shot power, 89 wrist shot accuracy, 91 wrist shot power. So he's a very hard shot that's pretty darn accurate, 88 accuracy. For his hands, he doesn't have super great deking like some of the lit cards, but he does have 90 deking, 91 offensive awareness, 90 hand-eye, 90 passing, and 92 puck control. So 90 plus for everything in hands. For a big man, that's pretty good, though. As for defense, he has 87 body checking. This is the first guy that'll probably actually be able to lay the lumber out of these cards. 6'5", 225. You're going to lay down the woodwork if you feel like it. You get a guy lined up, you might injure somebody. 91 strength, 87 aggression. As for checking, he has 90 defensive awareness, 84 shot blocking, 90 stick checking. So once again, another guy that can definitely play some defense. Good two-way type of guy. Really what you want in this power forward build. I wish his speed was a little bit higher. For his synergies, he has Gladiator, which is going to make his body checking strength, slap shot power, and defensive awareness a little bit higher. That's an individual synergy. For individual synergies, this is about middle tier. The slap shot power and stuff is nice, especially if it's like a defenseman. As for a forward, I don't think it's that great of a synergy, even for a guy like Blake Wheeler that just makes what he's good at even better. But I like this synergy more for defensemen than I like it for forwards, if I'm being 100% honest. And then as for Barrage, this is the one that gives you the slap shot power, offensive awareness, and aggression. Now, this does help, and it will definitely help if you have some defensemen, because this is going to be a team synergy. So everyone has it. You don't have to carry it. I do like Barrage. I think it can help your defenseman out. It helps with offensive awareness, so it's almost like the power forward synergy, but I do like that it gives you slap shot accuracy and slap shot power for the entire team and some offensive awareness. It's one of lower team synergies, but I think depending on how your team's built, it could actually be a good synergy to have. Overall, this Blake Wheeler has a lot of intangibles, but at 85 speed, it's kind of worrisome, and I don't know long term. Like, you get an 89 overall, he's worth a lot of coins in this game, so it's kind of like, do I want to keep or sell? Is he worth keeping or selling? Me personally, like I said, I'm trying to be unbiased here. Blake Wheeler's one of my favorite players to play with. Therefore, I'm going to give him 4 chewies here. I think that's an honest rating. I think at 85 speed, it's a little bit slower than I'd like. If he'd have 86 or 87 speed, he'd get 4.5 chewies. I think the speed and the skating in general hurts him here because long term, I don't know how viable he is at the 85 speed. But for right now in the game, definitely 4 chewies. Might be a little bit higher, depending on how he plays, depending on how your team's built, depending on what synergies you have. You get some speed on this guy, he's an absolute beast. But right now at 85 speed, just of what the card is with no synergies, that's how I got to look at it as. 85 speed just does not cut it. Ryan Suter. The last of the 6 cards is the 89 overall Ryan Suter for the Minnesota Wild. He's a left-handed defenseman, defensive defenseman build. He's a left defenseman because he's left-handed. I'd probably play him at right defense, to be honest. He's 6'2", 202 pounds, so absolutely a solid built player. I really like Suter. I think he skates very well for his size every year. He has like one of those guys that's kind of like a Sidney Crosby where he just skates well for his build. Like, he's built almost perfectly for what the video game likes in previous versions of the game. I don't know if in this version of the game if he's that perfect of a skater or not. I'm going to base it off of him having very good success in previous games, that he's going to be just one of those guys that's smooth to skate with. Looking at his skating, is 86 acceleration, 89 agility, 89 balance, 96 endurance, just like the Heiskanen we had talked about before. That 96 endurance is huge. That means he's going to be able to skate for a long time, and an 86 speed. So pretty good skating for a defenseman. He's not one of those guys that's like a barn burner when he's skating. He's going to be slow and steady, wins the race, but he's always going to put himself in great defensive positioning, as you see his 93 defensive awareness, which we'll get into a little bit more in a second here. For his shooting, he's a defensive defenseman, so he doesn't have an accurate shot, but he has a pretty hard shot at 90 shot power, 89 wrist power, only 81 accuracy for each of them. It's not that great. As for deking, he's not going to deke you out with 81. Good offensive awareness at 90, decent hand-eye at 81, but not great. Defensive defensemen are going to be good at defense, not the offensive side of this. He has 91 passing, 91 puck control, which is actually really good for a defensive defenseman. He can definitely start out breaks. He can definitely set people up in the offensive zone. He has 89 body checking. He should lay pretty decent hits at 6'2", 202 pounds, but he might bounce off of some of the bigger players that have good balance. 89 strength. As for his checking, he has 93 defensive awareness, which is huge. 91 shot blocking, 91 stick checking. The 91 stick checking is disappointing, to be honest. Patrice Bergeron has higher stick checking than a guy that's supposed to be a defensive defenseman. Honestly, this Ryan Suter, I think, is the worst card out of the 6. And I'm sorry to say that, Minnesota Wild fans. I do think Suter plays really well. He might play above his attributes. But looking at the other 5 cards before this one, I just think he's the worst, to be honest. Looking at synergy, he does have Swarm, which is in that upper echelon of team synergy. So it'll give him some more agility. Does bump up his stick checking and defensive awareness. And it only takes 8 team members, not 10. So that's why it's kind of a little bit higher than some of the other ones. As for shutdown, gives you the shot blocking, body checking, slap shot accuracy, and puck control. I don't know how many people I've seen with this shutdown synergy. Maybe some of the upper tier gold cards do. Right now my team's like 84s and below, to be honest. So maybe there's some more guys shut down to work with this. But I haven't seen too many great players out of the shutdown synergy. And because of that, the synergies aren't super impressive. I don't think he's that great of a card compared to the other 5. And that's really what we're comparing them to when we're doing this Chewy rating. For what you got to invest in the guy, how much is he worth it? Yes, obviously they're all good cards. They're 89 overalls. It's like the highest cards in the game right now. The Mario Lemieux and the Wayne Gretzky are 89 overalls. So these are like the top echelon, top tier cards. So like no matter what, he's going to be good. You put him in your defensive core, he's going to be a good player. But I just think that the other 5 cards are better. Therefore, this Ryan Suter is going to get 3.5 chewies. I think he's somebody, though, that could be surprising. Maybe his card plays above his attributes. I think at 86 speed, the Suter's just not really getting the job done for me. And he just doesn't have the great offensive skills to make up for it. And his defense really isn't that great. For an 89, I feel like he has the worst attributes, too. Like, I wonder if I added up all the attributes of his attributes would be worse than the other 5 cards, like a total of all the attribute points. Either way, Ryan Suter, 3.5 chewies. So now that we've done a review of all 6 of these cards, if you put one of the 89s, you can trade them in through this collection, put the 89 in here, a gold collectible, 8 lit versus grit collectibles, and you get a 90 overall version of Panarin or any of these guys because it's a choice pack. And essentially, it's just going to be the 90 overall version of these cards, but it's untradeable. So that's really up to you guys. I don't think the investment's worth it to have a guy that's permanently on your team that's 90 overall. In my personal opinion, that's stuck there that you can't get rid of. I think, me personally, I always like to have the ability to get rid of my players and not make them untradeable. Unless this guy is like Gretzky or some of the other legends that you can trade in later to get better versions of the legend like there was last year. I'm assuming they're doing the same thing in this game. But as for these, I just don't see the benefit on having an untradeable card. So I would just keep the 89s. For the one extra overall boost, is it's worth investing all these extra coins and not being able to sell the card later. But just in case, I just want to let you guys know you can trade them in to get a 90 overall version of one of these cards. What I also wanted to mention is they will give you 2 cards that you can have as essentially rental players. They call them loans. It's a concept that's really in FIFA. You're going to go here to get this 89 overall Lit vs. Grit Loan Master item choice pack. You get 2 of the 6. We're about to pull it. I don't know if you have to pick 1 lit, 1 grit, or you can pick 2 lits and 2 grits. It looks like you can pick 2 lits and 2 grits if you want, or a lit and a grit, whatever you want to get. Me personally, I'm going to add Panarin for sure. You get these guys for 14 days. I think last year was 7 days. I'm going to pick Panarin, and then I'm going to pick William Nylander because I think that these 2 guys are going to help the most. Does it hurt me a little bit center-wise when I probably should be picking Bergeron because I'm going to face a lot of these Bergerons and have to deal with people winning faceoffs? Probably. But for me, I'm going to pick Nylander and Panarin. They're both righties. I can put them on separate lines at left wing and kind of have my lines feed through them compared to having like Bergeron on the first line with like Panarin or something like that. But I'm going to pick the Panarin and Nylander. I think those are the 2 best for like my personal play style. I like to play a lot of running gun. I'll set up in the zone and cycle too, but I like to play fast and heavy hockey and counter punch guys. As for the other 4 cards, pick whichever ones you want. Obviously, I've given the true ratings of each of them, but I'm going to go with the Nylander and Panarin. Now that I've shown you guys how to get these 2 lone 89 overalls for 14 days that you can put in your lineup, use them, try them out, and we've given in-depth true reviews of all 6 of the cards, that's going to wrap up the video. Let me know what you guys think about these Lit vs. Grit cards in the comments down below, whether you think they're good cards, bad cards, whether you expected more out of it the first week in NHL. Also, don't forget to like and share this video so we can continue to grow the channel. I appreciate all the support. You guys have a great day and be safe.